Taylor. Pearson?
Pearon.
Pearon.
Yeah.
Pearon. My brother Quebrado. Capoeiristas. Tacfitters now. How you guys doing?
Good. Feeling really good after that flow class.
Yeah, just trained together, right?
It was amazing. It was such a good class. We were contemplating if we should come to the class or not. But I'm so glad that we did. Moved and it felt really good.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, like we were talking about right before we got on here, you know, you can't predict how you're going to feel, or you can't always quantify it. You know, you don't always have the words, but you have how you feel afterwards. And I haven't felt like that in a while, so yeah.
Nice. You're telling me about your aura ring too? You shared with me, you know?
Aura ring is amazing. Not an paid advertisement for Aura ring, but it was a gift from Taylor for Valentine's. And
I got mine on, right?
Here you go. And then meeting Scott with two of you guys having the ring, I sent her a message. I said, I'm a part of the group. It's been amazing to just keep it data and wake up in the morning. It's still not going to be the first thing that I'm looking at, but it's really giving me a lot of data and trying to sleep better. And we're always talking about better recovery, but I do sleep a lot of hours. And then for times I was like, I sleep 9 hours and I wake up in the morning. I don't feel.
And then it tracks your sleep, and it was like, and you're waking up constantly.
Waking up constantly and uninterrupted sleep, not getting enough rest. So we're gonna work on it.
But last night, right? It was different.
A couple days ago, yeah.
2 days ago.
It's been 2
Last
days,
2 days.
yeah.
You've had a crown on your when you wake
yesterday I
up.
had a crown for the first time. This morning I had a crown, but the night before, knowing that she was gonna come, I went to sleep really good, and then I woke up in the morning with like 78, 79. I was like, this is the best score I've had. And then yesterday we went to sleep around 9 after a nice workout at 6:30. I had a dinner, even late dinner. Did 5 minutes of into flow before bed. The TV was on. I'm like, I can't even. I've got to go sleep. And then I woke up in the morning. I had a 85 score on readiness and sleep. And I was like,
Your best score yet? Yeah.
best score yet. Yeah. So I really hope that I can keep going.
Yeah. Taylor, it's good for Taylor to be here for you, huh? Good for your sleep, good for your recovery.
Yeah, so, you know.
We need each other, right? We need connection. We were just talking about that, right?
Yeah.
How important it is.
I mean, and I think that's, you know, we're talking about recovery and figuring out what does that mean and how do we listen to our bodies, but also use the science that we have. Because like you're saying, we don't want to look at the aura ring and be like, oh, I didn't sleep well. Now I'm going to have a bad day. But also it can help match, oh, I didn't sleep that well. Look at the aura ring. It tracks. What can I change? How can I get
What did you do? What caused that for me not to sleep the night before, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I ate late, or I sleep better when I eat earlier, vice versa.
Or do a little bit of into flow before you sleep, get the heart rate down, transition easier, you know.
Nice. What's your background, Taylor?
I was an athlete and a dancer all of my life. I started Capoeira about 5 years ago, kind of just stumbled into it, and I've been a trainer for about that long as well.
What kind of dancer?
I did hip hop for most of my teenage years. So most recently hip hop, I would say. Yeah. Yeah. And then with Capoeira, there's a lot of dance. So I've been doing, you know, samba and Afro dances alongside Capoeira now. So that was a way for me to stay connected to that, but keep like more single-mindedly focusing on Capoeira at the time.
Nice. How did you start Capoeira? How did that happen?
I was living in Vancouver, BC, and I was just like going around trying any class that I could find. So I was trying parkour, I was trying ballet, I was trying breakdancing, and then my roommate wanted to go to a Capoeira class. And I was like, I don't know anything about it. I walked in, you know, I wasn't super convinced at first, but it was coming back. It was being introduced to people who were living the lifestyle. You know, I was getting exposed to the music, the dance, the language, and that was what kept me in, was being so stimulated on so many different levels. Because before I never wanted to specialize. Because I liked a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but nothing kept my attention for that long. Capoeira, though, there's so much that you can do on all different levels. You know, if you're not feeling like training, if you're hurt, you can practice your language, you can practice your music. If you don't feel like practicing Portuguese, you can practice acrobatics. So there's always something.
Yeah, right. It's crazy, right? From the music lessons to the my Capoeira instructor when we had Capoeira, right?
Yeah.
before the
it was nice.
COVID.
I just saw Mario the other day here, and
he's doing
connected
Tacfit
with
now.
a few of the people that were training here. So everybody kind of stayed in touch with me. So it's been amazing. But yeah, the good old days.
Yeah, right.
To jam and stay till 11 p.m. Alan used to be, we gotta close, guys. Sorry. And then he used to hang out with us too. He loved hanging out.
And like we were just talking about connection, you know, it's all about community, the culture. And that's something that I didn't find anywhere else, you know.
People don't want to leave, you know, like we've been in a weird year, you know, but in Capoeira, like the parties never end, training never ends, training after training, hangout after training, just never ends. I'm pretty sure jiu-jitsu is like that too.
Yeah, man. I you know, like I think for me, jiu-jitsu, like, I mean, it was like everything I needed, you know, and it just gave me that connection, you know, that I feel like maybe I was lacking growing up or whatever, just like, you know, however it worked. But it was the Brazilian culture, I feel like, combined with jiu-jitsu, you know. But the Brazilian culture really, I feel like special for me.
You've been to Brazil, you know how they treat us, and I mean, they treat themselves. The houses are, you know, most of the houses are open. You go and train, and they'll feed you, and out of nowhere there's a lunch, and you got to hang out for the barbecue, and then you look at the time. It's like, we got to train in the morning.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing for me growing up in like a typical American white household. Didn't have connection to a culture, to ancestry, to anything like that. Didn't have rituals, you know. So
where are you from?
From Atlanta originally.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, suburban Atlanta, just kind of living the normal lifestyle. So I didn't have any really connection to anything bigger than my nuclear family. So coming into something where you're connected to so many people all over the world, you're connected to a culture very different from anything that I had known. Like Quebrado said, you know, people are welcome. You know, it's just a different feel for me. So that was huge for me. And it changed, you know, it's still something I'm working on, coming from where I am and being comfortable in that, you know, and then offering that to other people.
How's your Portuguese?
I'm working.
She speaks good Portuguese. She probably speaks better Portuguese. She studies. She studies.
They trip out on they're like, what? You're not only is he like American, like Lebanese American, like what? He speaks like fluent Portuguese.
Yeah, I love learning languages. I mean, I think that's something that I'm very interested in general, right? Because it's either a barrier to connection with someone, or it's going to be the doorway to connection.
Right.
And, you know, there's words in each language that we don't have in any other, that you only know if you learn that culture in that language, and that's super cool.
Always keeps your mind open, right? To like that state of learning, right? Which if you don't learn, if you don't change, right, you just pretty much like waste away, right?
That's right.
And for you, like you know, you started breakdancing as well. It's like not hip hop, but breakdancing, right? When you were younger, and you fell into capoeira.
It was very interesting. It was 17 years old. I think I've told this story before, but we'll go again. And I was very lost in a way where I couldn't find the community, or I couldn't find anywhere that I kind of was wanted. And I was so young. I was 17 years old, a brand new country here in LA, California, in Eagle Rock. And the school was already hard. The school was hard. Dealing with first time meeting different races, first time dealing with different Armenians, you know, from so many different places. I was tripping now. I can't believe there's so many Armenians in the world that I thought I was like sheltered in Lebanon. We knew very little. And that whole thing happened. And then I'm like, I need a place to go and stay safe. And then I tried breakdancing. I tried hip hop, and everywhere I went, nobody wanted to, like, I think I went to the wrong places, but there was never a place where I walked in and I said, hey, I need a membership. Teach me how to dance. It was mostly like, oh no, we're closed. We got our own thing going on. We have our own crew. You're not welcome. And then walking down Eagle Rock, I saw Pavon Chegado's Academy.
I think it's a testament of who they are as people, right?
I mean, yeah.
On the right, yeah.
True, yeah.
I mean, I've been to a lot of, Kasururu, and there's a lot of Capoeiristas and stuff, and they're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I got
amazing.
lucky to walk into their academy and
you're amazing, you know, but they're
I think
amazing.
we find each other too. You're amazing as well. No, we can just go into No, they were like yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? I was like telling. I'm not sure if it was you or someone else. I said they were like my mom. I think it was Roxanne. They were like my mom and dad. You know, 17 years old, and they were the only ones that were talking to me. But it was not them. It was me. I was very closed. I didn't want to have friends. I didn't want to have more friends than just them in the beginning. So I kind of went, trying not to look anywhere. Just wanted to look at them, believe in them. And then it took me a couple trips to Lebanon. Got exposed to the capoeira there. I kind of saw what I have and the potential and how obsessive I am in something that I love. I am, you know, just that obsessive. I loved capoeira. I came back from that trip and I said, I am messing around with this. I'm wasting my time. I'm not going to college. I got to figure this out if this is what I want to do in my life. I think it was age 26.
Wow.
I figured out that capoeira is what I want to do for my life. I have a tattoo right here. And it was just a light bulb, the reason why I wanted to capoeira and how can I stay capoeira for all my life with all the ups and downs, with all the drama, with all that life comes at you. So that was a promise around 26 without knowing much, without knowing where we're heading, what's going to happen. So they were a big part of who I am, Pearon Chegado, Master Boneco, and all the instructors in LA. We have a big, strong capoeira community that is very open, and they support each other. Of course, it starts all from the top, the leaders, the second leaders, and then the future leaders, and how we were able to open up each other's academy or our academy for other people. We started having more open rodas, that weird energy or weird fighting or this is my academy, this is yours, I'm this group, that kind of fade out, I think. I mean, there still exists. People are crazy, but that whole...
You guys set the tone of how to be, right?
Maybe, again, maybe not my generation, but one generation above me kind of set the tone, and then we're carrying that message and then also evolving. We're never in the same mindset. We keep evolving. Capoeira is always evolving as anything else. If you don't evolve with it, you're going to find yourself quitting. So that's a big, I always talk about this. If you don't evolve, you might quit, or you might feel that it's not serving a purpose. You need to keep evolving with the art itself. Especially look what happened last year. If we didn't evolve
with COVID,
we got to keep evolving. You got to keep open mind and do what you can for the moment, but still
such a testament to you. I mean, you did 2 Tacfit certifications, right? You did the first one, the last one we had in person.
Yeah,
and you followed through, right? Because it's like drinking out of a a water hose, right?
That test that I couldn't pass in January was a big game changer. She saw the photo the other day. She's like, "Oh, look how beautiful this photo is when you came over and you're touching my head after the qual." Said, I failed. I probably scored 36 or 37 on my first time, but that was it. That was like,
it's the like for me, like it's like serious, right? You have to play to win. You can't just cruise, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe like a super, but even so, when I talk to some guys, like it's amazing to see the level of the system, right? Like a crazy super athlete, he'll crumble. Like the level 2s and stuff, they'll crumble if they don't have like the technique.
Right? Like we were talking about.
That's such a testament,
It is.
Yeah.
Even level 1 is not a...
No, level 1 too. Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
level
another thing, we always talked about this too with Chegado. We always talk about Tacfit, and if level 1 was that easy for me to come and pass, I don't know if I would have been that excited right now.
You wouldn't appreciate it.
It took me 2 more months in my small room, lockdown, following online workouts. She was coaching me. We were coaching each other. She was counting my reps with the qual. She was with me on the video when I passed before I sent it to Rob. So too many more of those. But and then, for sure, it's a mind game. It's a mind game, but it's physical, but it's all real. It's not an illusion. It's not like some stuff in capoeira can be magical. We rely on the ashe and the dende and the magic. Tacfit is
straight to the point.
You either have it or you don't have it. Yeah. Or you got to work.
Black and white.
You got to work.
Yeah, you got to do the reps. You got to put the work in.
Everybody can do it, but you got to
surrender to the process, right?
And be patient and be humble. And I think it humbles you even more. Every single class humbles me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was one of the coolest things about Tacfit for me was that I've always kind of just been able to push through whatever, like athletically. I've always, soccer, cross country, track. It was just kind of keep going till the finish line, keep going till the game is over. Even if you're hurt, keep playing. Played with a broken rib once. It's just like, when you're an athlete, you have to do that. But in Tacfit, then I realized that I don't breathe when I do those things. And at what cost is that coming? So I can perform until that's over because my body's just responding to that super high stress, and then everything falls apart. And then in Tacfit, I was like, I don't even know how to, I can't even breathe well. And my heart rate spikes immediately and all of these things that don't show on the outside that people don't see. And then that became so apparent right away. So that's been the coolest thing for me.
It's amazing, right? It's a game. Like for me, like my introduction to Tacfit was my UFC fight, and I got tired, right? It was my debut, whatever. And I was like breathing too much. I was over breathing, chest breathing, right? And then it wasn't that I, it's just that, it came down to that, right? Yeah. Talking about the breath, and and then Scott Sonnen starts talking, and you're like, okay, yeah, okay, that's good to know, that's good to know. And then, man, it kind of just from that moment, I just never stopped thinking about it. But the one big thing, right? I always kind of say it is I got thrown in my head, and usually 4 to 6 weeks, right? They give you pain pills, and then talk about surgery, right? And then it never really fully heals. And man, he showed me this movement, to move my neck, a certain way. It's like every time you have pain, just do this, And I did it, man. I got better in a week. And I was like, what? I can heal myself with movement? Like what? Yeah. And then I do the same things with our students, right? With the jiu-jitsu, to get hurt, their elbows, all the joints. And instead of it being 4 to 6 weeks, or but then not always a week, but sure. Kind of, you get on the right track, right?
Yeah. You can see improvement in a week.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Whereas they go to the doctor and they get a sling, and that elbow still bothers them, right? After forever.
And they lose range forever, or they always have pain when they do
right.
And I think it takes people usually getting into some sort of acute, some injury, right? Especially someone who's been lucky enough to be able-bodied and has been athletic. They've just kind of, like me, they were able to just push through. Sure, it was inconvenient. Sure, it wasn't the best, but you just make it work and move on until something happens that you can't ignore. And then they have that choice, right? Do we go through that traditional, conventional, which of course there's maybe a time and a place, but so often people are automatically prescribed surgery. I have a bilateral labral tear, so both my hips are fully torn. And I was in pain, chronic pain every day for a year. Finally got the MRI, got that diagnosis, and 6 PTs in a row just told me I was going to have to get double hip surgery. It was going to be $15,000. I was going to not be able to walk without crutches for 6 months. I was going to be out of my job as a trainer. And then I found a PT who was like, I would rather you not, because so many people hang their hat emotionally on that fixing them. And then even if they get that, they don't get out of pain because they didn't fix what was the cause of that. I mean, unless you're thrown on your head. There's certain situations. But if it's something that happens from overuse or from a lifetime of training a certain way, compensations, then they're not addressing that. They're just putting the Band-Aid on it.
Right.
And then they never want, then they wonder, why didn't this work? And why am I out my money and my time and my emotions, So luckily I've been able to get back to my movement and seeing practices like this that the proof is in the pudding. It's just if people give it the chance.
What are some of the things the Into Flow, the FlowFit going slow, FlowFit 6-degree flow?
Yeah. I mean, for that was before I was exposed to Tacfit when that happened. But since then, what's been able to maintain me feeling good, when I'm training Capoeira, it's high impact, all these things that I need to balance them out. Because Capoeira, not always, but I was trained at least initially to go fast, to go hard. You're always to do acrobatics, da-da-da. So that's a lot of impact on the body.
Especially year after year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's why these young guys are, getting hip surgeries, right? Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, we are the young guys. We're gonna be the one if we keep doing this. We're gonna be, in mid-30s, late 30s. She was barely not even 30 when she got diagnosed with the tears. So it's scary to think about if all of us are gonna do this, our students are gonna get there too. So if we can avoid, we are the generation. I think you guys are the generation. I think we know so much about what's out there, and we're just learning more and more. And I think we can be the one that can change that culture in a small place, and then keep sending the message around. So, she's been training me in mobility alongside with Tacfit and Into Flow for the last year, and I've been feeling so good. They're the minor, she always refers to the non-sexy workout where nobody wants to do it. It doesn't look good. It doesn't. You can't record yourself and saying you're doing cool stuff. It's just the minor, small, stretches and take time under tension and being in a certain position that when I first started Tacfit, I couldn't be on my ankles. I was just telling Edith right now, I couldn't be in my shoulders pike position. I could barely breathe.
Your neck nervous. And stuff.
No, just a breath. I used to think that I'm gonna choke, and now I'm learning to breathe from the back. I'm not on my neck, so everything is just making more sense as it goes. And as the deeper you go, the deeper you search about what works for you, and then the tools are so many amazing tools that are around us. And if we can keep using those tools, I think we keep getting better and keep doing what we do better, and for longevity. I want to help people move when they're in their 50s in their 60s.
50s, all their whole life, man. Come on, man.
When I say move,
50s.
when I say move, talking about capoeira.
I'll be 50 in like 5 years.
Capoeira. I want you to do cartwheels, handstands, you know, so super basic stuff. Move around. My parents' generation, you know, our generation back home. I come from a family that we have 0 movers. So I already beat every single odd that was my way growing up to be a dancer, and then to come to America and try capoeira. And then, you know, nobody knew what capoeira was. Nobody knew what I was doing. I was like, what? So already I'm the first one in my generation, in my family, that, you know, I'm going to break the whole pattern. And
it's amazing, man. Congrats. Yeah,
rewriting the narrative, you know, because people just associate aging with pain, with limitation,
and just also aging with your age, right? It doesn't have to be. It's like not that your biological, like staying mobile and that keeps you young. That's why I say it's like the fountain of youth.
Yeah. So we were just having a conversation with some of our students, because I have a couple students who are, I don't know, like 55. In their mid 50s, and both of them are feeling better than they ever have in their lives. And one of them, she was a power lifter when she grew up. You know, she was a dancer, professional gymnast, and she feels better now at 55. She has less pain. She loves, you know, she wants to get certified in FlowFit. You know, she's because it's what she feels. It's how she feels.
Exactly.
And once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. You know how you want to feel, you can feel. Because so many times people live with pain, they just deal with it. You know. Chronic pain, maybe they don't think it's that bad, or they just get used to it day in, day out. They start to just kind of
accept it. Just accept it.
And they forget what it feels like to not have that until that changes one day and they feel how you can feel.
Yeah. How was the Tacfit certification experience for you? I know it was like our first time online. It was really cool because you got to experience like both, right? Yeah. But how was your experience with the Tacfit certification?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. I mean, it feels a long time ago now since FlowFit and everything, but I think it was done really well. I liked that it was spread out, because I've done a lot of certifications in other systems in person where it's been one weekend, which I know is how it used to be, right? But like,
it's a bit, we want to have the academy no matter what, you know?
Yeah.
And we were trying to solve that problem, because in Europe it's a little bit easier, right? Because it's smaller, in one country, right? But here in the U.S., like every state is like, you know, like
its own country almost.
Right. Yeah. So how do you solve that problem? So we kind of solved that problem with the pandemic of creating the academy online. And now, of course, we're doing the Zoom, but I can't wait to combine them both together.
I think that'd be perfect.
You do all the training, right? You not everybody's going to do it, you know, but the people that do, you can get everything. You play to win, do everything you can get out of it, right? Really learn. And then you show up at the end and you're ready, you know, right. We did some training before, but it's a lot different when you have that academy with the content, with the knowledge, right?
I think, having access to the team leaders, you know, to give feedback the whole time is huge. And for me, I get so saturated. If I sit in a workshop all weekend, there's a point when I just I can't take anything else in. So it's just kind of going over my head. So I think that'd be perfect, having access. Like you said, people will choose how much they actually use that, but someone who's really committed gets in there. Every time I text him, he's studying, you know, watching Scott's videos, even outside of the certifications, right? So people will, it's so cool to have that, because every time you revisit even the same seminar, the same lecture, you're going to find out something different.
Else,
So it was a really cool process for me.
Yeah.
I love the 7 key components videos that you guys made. So amazing. I just re-listened to them.
Yeah.
As if I was listening for the first time again. Every single time I hear it, I'm like, okay. I thought I knew it, and then
And I read a paragraph for like years. Like, it was a paragraph that Scott wrote. Oh, now I get it. Oh, I think I get it, right?
A little closer. Yeah. I think that's the parallel between Tacfit and Capoeira for me is the same thing as Capoeira. Like with Tacfit, there's always more. You can always go deeper into the system, even though it's presented in a way that's very digestible for people, at least surface level, right? There's a few base movements, there's concepts that you can always keep refining, and then, like we said, you can kind of get deeper into those layers of like the iceberg as you go.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys really, you know, going all, like all in, because you got to go all in. And it's like, you know, but it's not CrossFit with Tacfit movements. You know, it's like we're doing Tacfit. You know, it's this whole holistic thing, right? System.
Yeah.
I mean, the 11-week was amazing for me. Like she says, the 2-day certification, the 3-day certification, I was so exhausted. I was so nervous, first to be with the team leaders in person, even though I travel with Capoeira, but it's not my thing, right? I'm coming in as a kind of an outsider, or the first time meeting all these people in person, and it was a lot of pressure in person. I was like, I'm looking around, everybody's strong for sure. I tell my clients not to compare yourself with someone else. It's you against you, but that takes a second to catch up on you. And the academy kind of took that out, made you focus on yourself. A lot of content, you want classes you had, and then we were just checking in. We were doing the flows of the week was the more of the FlowFit, but the academy was amazing. Week after week, the time that we met, Saturday and Sunday, it's a little bit hard to drop all your work and go over 11 a week, and you know you got to miss 4 weekends and have a whole Saturday and Sunday. But you made it happen, you know. And then the cool thing about
it's getting shortened up, right?
but you guys were so cool that, you know, if somebody had a really good, like, important job, they were able to leave, come back. You know, if they had somebody had
you
to
can
take
watch
care
it
of their
later
kids.
on your own time.
You guys
the
were
videos.
super linear for that, so I really appreciate. It was amazing. It was a lot of the 11-week content was amazing to see it on a paper, to see it on a PDF. You know, we got the booklet in person, but everything was more verbal, and then you had to go home and really see what he talked and which part it is. The whole PowerPoint presentation. And
it's getting better and better. I don't know, the FlowFit,
super well
the Tacfit right now that's going on.
And then the FlowFit was amazing too. The FlowFit was super well done. The way that you guys spotlighted different team leaders from different places. I met a couple people that I never knew who they were. So the first, like, oh, this person is gonna warm us up. No idea.
I don't
remember his name.
Did you know Jihad before?
Jihad I knew.
Okay, because he's from Lebanon.
Jan?
Yeah.
No.
John from Germany?
Jan and another guy. Did one of the more, now when we're on podcast, I don't want to sound.
Not Juan David?
No.
Ben from Australia?
Yes. Yeah, I've never heard or
Ben
seen
Exton,
him before.
okay.
Yeah. And John from Germany, right?
Jan,
Yeah. So it was awesome to do a warm up with someone else, and then the flows divided between people.
Nicola did one of the
Nicola did, he was super amazing. Yeah.
He's an amazing mover, man.
His videos are next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. I mean, that was really cool just to get ideas for creativity with the flows, right? And understand how many different directions we can go with those. And all the team leaders have been super available to us, which has been great. We had Juan David for Tacfit.
Okay.
And we would ask him a question. He would send us like an 8-minute video back. So it was just like giving us as much value as possible, which was really helpful.
All the team leaders,
amazing.
just like, you know, even Essig, Aaron, Robert here, like everyone. Yeah. Juan David from far away. He wasn't even our team leader for the second round. We had a few questions, but everybody was super supportive. And you're in Tacfit, I'll give you my time. That's the feedback. What I got, and I'll do the same for anybody else coming into the system too. So
that's how we spread it, right? That's how we spread it.
Yeah, and that's something that we wouldn't have gotten if it was just the in-person one weekend thing, because we wouldn't have been connected to those leaders, you know, and we wouldn't have that time between sessions to realize what our questions were, what our deficits were, and then reach out and ask about them. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then the FlowFit was very interesting too, because we saw a lot of people that were not Tacfit that were in our FlowFit, which kind of like says, oh, we're doing something right. You know, you guys, the system is over and over proving it to be right, and it's working. And what is FlowFit? It's just it's all the stuff that comes from Tacfit being in the flow. You know, the flow is coming from some yoga positions, prasa yoga, the Pilates, and most of the positions we're not worried about. We're worried about how to share it to a client, how to present it, how to have regression and progressions, and how to feel good, just like Tacfit. So
that's all the same components.
Just knowing.
And really, if you look at the history, right, Tacfit comes from CST, circular strength training, right? The way everything spirals, right? And so it was FlowFit and Club Bell. So the trial by fire and then the FlowFit, like that was the CST cert. Okay. So you had to pass those 2 tests, you know.
So
but
to be a Tacfit instructor, you had to pass the Club Bell and the FlowFit.
No, that was before Tacfit. The Tacfit name was created. So when Scott trained me, like in 2007, 8, you know, there was no Tacfit. The name Tacfit didn't exist yet. It was CST, circular strength training.
Interesting.
And so it's like the parent kind of Tacfit, you know. But Tacfit is our brand, right? So we just say Tacfit. I think it's easier, you know, to explain to people like it's Tacfit.
So
you know?
CST became into a few parts and still stayed in individual.
What's
like
that?
FlowFit.
So a CST, right? There's 3 rings. So if you have one of the shirts, right, with the 3 rings on it, what are the 3 rings? Into Flow, Prasara Yoga, which you can say FlowFit and those kinds of things, right? And then the Club Bell for the strength.
Yeah.
So that's the parent of Tacfit. And so when I talked to Aaron Cruz, who, you know, is 15 years plus in the system, he's like, yeah, you want to do those things, you know, you want to spend some time there. And then he kind of recommends to do the Tacfit cert like you guys did. Yeah. And then go deeper into FlowFit, go deeper into the clubhouse, exactly like you guys are doing, you know. So I'm happy you said that to me, because I don't, you know, he's been around for so long that I really trust what he tells me. Yeah, and then you're going to do the steel mace, right?
Next week or 2 weeks.
Right, we're going to do it together. You coming in for that?
I will come in.
Okay,
for
cool.
sure. Yeah,
nice.
She'll help me out with stuff if I need to. I'll come around for sure.
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
But it was last week when we were hanging out, and I was like, I'm really gonna pick Essex brain. We talked for like 5 minutes, and I was like, done. I'm buying my my.
Yeah, it's still being, you know, I think like dialed in, right? But yeah, it's great. It's great, yeah, just to learn the movements. I think it's AMRAP is the test, you know.
I haven't even asked.
But it's about getting into the community, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like connecting, right? That's what it's about, like going back to connecting.
And also connecting to a tool too, you know, like connecting to your own steel mace and different way of holding it. I think, you know, I'm so excited to even share with her, you know, us starting to do the 101, steel mace 101. We just got it. So just growing, you know, it's a day at a time, a week at a time, and see what makes sense.
What's crazy about it just keeps coming, the stuff. You know? It never stops. You know?
Yeah, I think that's been
lifetime of study.
Yeah, club bells have been really cool for me because I had obviously no exposure before the system this last year. And, you know, being a trainer, I got into training because I like to move and because I liked other types of movement, so I wanted to complement that and just help other people get active. But for me as a person, when I go to work out, like doing traditional lifts, you know, is pretty boring for me most of the time. So club bells are really fun because I still find that fluidity. You know, it's really challenging in a different way, unlike anything I've done before. But it makes me excited to go do it. Whereas sometimes I'm just kind of going through the motions, like I need to get my strength lift in so that I can go do my capoeira and know that I'm stronger in my positions. And now this is also something that I look forward to every time, which I think is cool.
What are some of the, you know, the other things you had done before? You know, and you mentioned the cars and the pails and rails, the FRC. What are some of the other things you were doing before? You're doing for Tacfit? So
yeah, I had done FRC for about a year before Tacfit. And that was kind of around the same time that I got my hip diagnosis. So my therapy for that was done by someone else through a system called PRI. Postural restoration. Yeah.
Okay.
So another very like rehab focused training system. So it's more for people who are coming in, they have some noticeable injuries, they haven't found anything else that works. That one's very focused on everything starting from the center. So rib cage expansion, being able to breathe through your diaphragm efficiently, very like technical 8-piece movements. You know, I think it definitely has a time and a place, but for most people, it's like Quebrado was saying, both of those systems I think have a lot of utility for the right people, but are not the most exciting thing. So a lot of my clients were like, yeah, when I do it, it's really hard. But also, like, I don't really want to do it, you know?
Kind of
like,
boring, right?
Yeah, it's boring.
Yeah.
So, and it's not a knock on the system because they've helped so many people. And I mean, for me, when I went through my therapy, I did not understand it at all, but it worked.
I mean, like the physical therapy, it's like you go. It's like it's kind of boring, right? Like that's I'm always hyping up Tacfit just because it's like physical therapy, but it's badass. You know, you're being a badass, like doing all the stuff.
So actually, some of my clients, people who came with me from my mobility before and then got introduced to the Tacfit, are like, I love Into Flow because it's just like what we did, but it's not boring. You know, it's like it's way more fun. And
if you look at the roots, man, like people that with Scott, because this year is our 25-year anniversary.
That's awesome.
They just never had business things behind it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's such a testament.
Tacfit's been around for 25 years.
Well, you know, before it's called RMAX, right? So, but the you know, the brand 25 years, the system, because it's all interconnected. But 25 years, so it's like. It's a proven system, and it goes to show you because people. I mean, this last year, right, was just reconnecting with people, but people have been doing it around the world for 25 years, and we're you know, because it's changed. How do you feel? It changes their life, right? And regardless of the bad business, whatever, not I shouldn't say bad, but you know that lack of the non-marketing and whatever, all the things, and the thing was before its time, is way ahead of its time. So that was another thing, right?
Right. Like we were talking about yesterday, like things can be before their time, and the people who experience it, they'll go off and live and be happy for it. But otherwise, some people will be like, that's weird. weird, you know, like
anything
like that. I don't know. Let me see someone else do that first.
Yeah. But now because of all the technology we have, the imaging and everything else, it's science, right?
Yeah.
And so now the world's ready for this, and Scott's still ahead of the time. Man. It's crazy.
I mean, if you're ahead of the time 20 years ago, you're going to be ahead of the time.
Yeah. He just to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
He's like, it's hard for him, right? He's got to, what did I say like 20 years ago? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Basically, you know, focusing on other things. Exactly.
Posted a photo of me and Scott last week or a couple of days ago, and then a random message I got from a friend of mine from Europe. I can't believe you met Scott. I'm like, how do you know Scott? He goes, I was a CrossFit trainer. I dreamt about training with him like old schooler, OG. Yeah. And it was amazing. I have no idea what are the chances for that person. My friend knew Scott. It was from my circle, from our Capoeira community. So I can't wait for all the Capoeiristas to, you know, really figure it out and, you know, say, hey, we need a little bit more than just Capoeira and Roda, and make sure that we take care of ourselves and do more stretching, more mobility. That's already happening right now. So with my classes, Pavão Chegado's classes, like it's evolving, you know, just like we just said, we are evolving. So that means you're gonna take 10 more minutes to stretch to keep most of your clients happy. We gotta do it. 10 less kicks.
And it's not boring. It doesn't have to be boring, right? I don't think it's boring. If I can get my attention, you know, I feel like I can get anybody's, you know.
I mean, even for St. Para last year, or Taylor, she trusted me with everything, with like the system. She had no idea.
Tacfit and stuff.
When we were training online, she's like, yeah, I'm a trainer and I'm going to give it a try in club bells. And she ordered her first pair of club bells. And then we started sending her Tacfit t-shirts and a sweatshirt and a legacy. And then she started stealing some of my stuff.
Very comfortable hoodie. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't heard of the system at all before.
Yeah, right.
Introduced me, so but it made a lot. And I think for me and for a lot of my clients and students, it came at the perfect time during the quarantine, because people didn't have what they were used to. If people were going to gyms, they no longer had that available.
Right.
And this was a really easy way for me to work with people online. A lot of people's motivation was low. They had no equipment available.
As a jiu-jitsu guy too. So what I did, you know.
They couldn't, you know, Capoeira wasn't happening, and that's something that happens with people in person. So in that transition, a lot of people, I think, for me included, my motivation was low at the beginning, you know, during quarantine. I was like, I'm used to being with other people. Like I'm used to working out with other people. I'm used to I go to a place to do the thing, and now I don't have that place, and I do all my things in the same room.
Same spot, right?
Yeah, in my small 600 square foot apartment. Like here.
I mean, all of us were in the like 4 mats, you know, like just all day long. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's super efficient, right? It's very easy for people who are getting over that hurdle, maybe for the first time, or maybe just in a long time of coming back into movement. It's not that intimidating, right? I mean, sure, they can look at people who move very well within the system and say, whoa, but it's very available. We have the regressions, we have the modifications for everybody, every level, and it's 20 minutes of workout. You know, I mean, there's the into flow at the beginning, but it's very manageable to fit into someone's day.
Yeah, I want to see these. I want to see Tacfit gyms, and I want to see to have a place in the communities, you know. So that's why it's something, and you know, you're saying your friend in Germany, he's a CrossFit guy, and I see it because it's been around for, you know, I've been running gyms for 20 years. I just want to see Tacfit gyms in the community so we can really help people. You know, I feel like, you know, I just feel like, you know, you go to the doctor and like, you know, we're talking about something like that, you know, like surgeries or drugs, and this is like a solution, right? We can really help a lot of people.
Sure.
Stuff.
And you can reach the mass population and the people that are most in need, you know, like, you know, we're healthy people are very few. We one out of 10, you know, everybody else is either overweight or not healthy enough.
Right.
And how can we reach and be available for normal day, you know, someone like my parents, someone like my aunts to having access to the Into Flow or the club bell mobility, the light ones that Aaron Cruz has. Amazing.
He's
amazing.
something else.
So amazing. Game changer.
Part of the Into Flow, right? I think, in my opinion, just loaded it. A little bit loaded, right?
Load. Makes sense. Progressive overload.
And he has all this stuff. I'm looking forward for him to create a whole Into Flow cert. You know, the guy's like, gotta happen. It's gotta
Let's
happen.
do it.
Yeah. And I mean, getting back to what we were saying earlier, I always talk with my clients about the centenarian Olympics, like this idea of what do you want to be able to do when you're 80, 90, 100.
Yeah.
It's not going to be probably the same thing that you want to do now. I mean, it'd be great if we can keep doing Capoeira and BJJ and all those things, but also people are going to want to play with grandkids. They're going to want to be able to be autonomous, go get their groceries themselves, walk up and down the stairs. And so many people just don't think that's going to be possible. They just kind of accept their fate. But I think that this can be a way for people to either maintain or to gain it back, right? To show people even if they've lost it, they can gain it back.
Yeah. Well, I was going back to the Tacfit gyms, like and it's COVID safe, right? If COVID happens, you can shift to online. Capoeira,
Capoeira, we struggled, you know, if you're listening to us right now.
Man, jiu-jitsu too, right? Like, how do you do jiu-jitsu online?
A year and a half in, you know, and
so Tacfit saved me there too, you know, like
all these,
Tacfit.
What about all these older masters, right? Like even in jiu-jitsu or in Capoeira that are in places in Brazil that are struggling and don't have internet and don't have laptop, don't have the fisheye lens, they don't have a microphone, and we're expecting them to survive this pandemic. No, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
The more ready you are technologically, not only tech, but the system works by itself. All you had to do is find it how, which what you guys did, versus the system is impossible to work without being there in person, you know. So I think that was the difference between you guys capitalizing.
Yeah, it was good for Tacfit, you know.
Yeah.
And it was things that probably you wanted to do for years that you didn't really
the online, the online, you know, people been asking for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then when you don't have a choice.
Yeah, you pivot, you make it happen.
Yeah, and you were in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
And so you're able to do it.
Yeah.
People around, and you saw the
Totally.
people that were in the group. It was like all around the world.
All around the world, yeah. I mean, that is one silver lining, is people being connected all around the world. You know, now if
I'm talking to people in Panama and I don't know where else.
Yeah. And when we can travel, we have those people to go visit, you know, and we can go train with those people and those connections are made. Or if it was finances were a barrier, now someone doesn't have to worry about paying for travel on top of the certification, which is usually a big thing.
It all adds up, right?
Yeah.
How was the FlowFit? Like, cause who do you have for your FlowFit cert?
Aaron.
We had Aaron.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think most it was me, you, Hapa from
Rob.
Oh, nice.
Rob, yeah.
Charlene.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, like an Americans.
Most of
California.
California,
Yeah.
same time zone.
Yeah.
And then you have the club bell coming up.
Yeah. Got to get stronger first, but yeah.
Doing the iron crosses with the 10s.
That's the only
my God,
one. That's
yeah.
the.
I can't yet.
Uh-huh.
So, but I think it's just a matter. I
Grease
made
the groove, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Grease the groove. Do one,
Yeah.
try to do regress, right? And then little by little, you get stronger.
Yeah. Hold it higher.
And get
up.
to one,
Exactly.
then two, then
Mm-hmm.
Just watching her working on her single meals and from the last 2 months, and yesterday she posted a video and I was like, oh my God, it's so much better. Even like a little bit of work and just the way that you breathe and the way that you're gonna hold your posture and the technique and.
And I've been lucky enough that because I was athletic, some things have come easy to me. So it's something that doesn't come easy. You know, it's not. So it's more rewarding though, because that small.
They're saying that super athletes, right? They crumble if they don't have the technique. You know, it's like so like it blows my mind. I'm like, man, it's like everything's been thought out. You know, in a way.
It has, yeah, all the details.
And guys who do the work and surrender to the process, like
You'll see
there's no shortcuts.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts, just consistent inputs, and slowly over time. So that's my goal, is just 20 minutes a day, just really working on single arm mills, working on the iron cross, and hopefully getting there by the certification.
Yeah, so steel mace and club bells back to back. Let's see how.
It's just the beginning, right? It's just the beginning with all the stuff, right?
And I'm not super, like I said, I'm not super worried about it.
But the club bell, like you got to work, and the FlowFit, you got to. I mean, you guys are a Capoeiristas, but still, you got to do the work. Tacfit, you got to do the work. Yeah. Those are the three, the trifecta.
Yeah, you can't just show up without doing the work.
Yeah. You think it's meditative, doing the club bell work? Do you feel like it's meditation?
So. I get to a groove. Yeah, especially on 4-1s. I love 4-1s. I just get lost in it. I work a lot of 4-1s with club bells. That's been what I've been doing lately. Like not over training, but just one protocol or one movement, or I choose 2 movement and just work 10 minutes, 4 on one, 4 on the other, and then just keep breathing. A couple weeks ago, I did 20-minute nonstop single hand mill with 5-pounders. So meditative. Just keep going. 5 pounds.
The breath,
super
the
light.
structure.
10 minutes I switch hands, and then it got tired. I kept switching side to side, and after 20 minutes, I'm like, I felt high from just the amount of input I got on me, where my weight is going, how much forward I'm coming, where am I looking, you know. So club bells, we were talking yesterday about this too, how grabbing it from how the whole grip confirmation, that pinky touching that ball, giving you a sense of where you are versus grabbing it from halfway, cutting the weight in half. Works amazing. And you know,
humbling, right?
Yeah,
another humbling
example,
tool.
Shigadu Sean been playing with club bells, and he had a shoulder pain, gone.
Yeah.
You know, he was feeling the weird sensations for the last few months, strengthening with club bells, and he's like solid now. You know, it's like awesome.
Lubricating the joint. Yeah, I mean, actually, meditative, the flow. I think the first time that I can remember really feeling flow state was in the FlowFit test, actually. So not the club bells, but finding that like continuous flow state where I didn't think at all for the entire time, and that was a really cool.
Just gone, nothing.
Yeah. Everyone was talking. I couldn't hear anything.
We were telling her to slow down.
She was focusing on your breath, and just you're gone.
Yeah, reminded me of like getting a tattoo when you just kind of like drop into another realm almost. So that was really cool. And then I'm starting to find that single arm mills, finding those once you don't have to think so much, just kind of catch, getting used to that rhythm.
What difficulties have you had to overcome in any of the certs?
For me, for the FlowFit, it was the breathing. It was the breathing, I would say, right? That was what we were focused most on.
So
yeah,
because you had the movement,
because
you had your backgrounds.
Yeah,
the
just from
I think,
Capoeira, some of the moves transferred. You know, so for me, I think that was a little bit easier, like movement wise, than the Tacfit one was. But the breathing was the biggest. You know, anytime I would hold my breath, or I'd be doing it the opposite way. You know, be like breathing too aggressively, or just not connected to it, not connecting my movements to the breath. So that, and then when that's actually, we were talking with Juan David about that, and that was his biggest suggestion before the test. And when I tried to slow it down, or when I tried to connect my movements to my breath, I got so much slower. You know, my technique changed. I could no longer keep my same technique. So that was like me regressing to come back and eventually find it to be more holistic.
For me, I had a really bad pain in my hip, like
I remember
from
that,
internally right here. And a couple days I woke up, I was in Chicago visiting. I was in tears. I was in there's no way I can do the test. And then we were a week away. We were like a week away from the main, the final test. And she took me into the PRI doctor that she saw. The guy worked some magic in 1 week, just with few exercises, just being on the floor, activating my groin, using my left side, rewiring the patterns of the way that I squeeze or I use my hip. And 3 days later, after I saw the doctor, I woke up in the morning, I'm like smiling, and I said, I think I can do this. And then that was it. So my biggest overcome was
the injury,
which I don't know what it was. It could be a tear. It can be a tear, which we're not really worried about. But me already doing rewiring the way that I move. Now I'm having way more sensation on my left side. I'm more aware of my left side than I was a couple months ago before the FlowFit. And I'm still doing the PRI exercises from the doctor. Keep doing the into flow and super slow down on the days. Try to recover more. But I was like, I don't know if I can go 15 rounds. I was so sad. I was like, I don't want to fail.
I remember that.
You really don't want to fail. I messaged Aaron Cruz. I messaged you. Few workshops I stayed out, but thank God, knock on wood, everything worked out.
Got it, man. The club bells next, and
club bells.
You got the
steel mates and club bells, and like I said last year, 2021 is going to be a lot of learning, and I'm super humbled by all the experiences and all the certification. You know, we get certified, and the way I see getting certified is just, it's your entry level to get to know something you don't know much about. Right. You know, you got to be very humble. You got to keep asking questions. You got to keep being curious. You know, I ask questions so much. When I learn a way to do something, and I see someone doing it, why did you do like this? Why did you do it like this? I just want to know everybody's way, and hopefully I can create my way, because you know, there's no one right answer. Even in the Tacfit, you know, we all are in a different height, different where my hip is, where my elbow is. So it's not going to be perfectly the same for everybody. There's always a room of a little bit of error, and we all are human beings. So that's amazing, you know, still having a room for error, and you can still get better, and you can still pass the certification and get deeper into it.
Yeah.
I think works like a magic.
Favorite part of like you've been so, I feel like you've been living it, right, this last year, like the certs and all the stuff, because that's what it takes, right, to do these things.
I think really like the feeling that I get coming out of a flow class like today.
Yeah.
You know, I want that feeling more often. So I really like that. And that's my goal, you know, is also listening to Rob as a coach, learning as I start to coach more, how can I cue this? Yeah. How can I keep it more simple? You know, I think so much of the time coaches over cue.
Right.
All you need is to kind of hammer in those details, like the same ones that people need to come and touch on again and again. Yeah. And so that's for me, what I'm listening to is how does he create, because he's creating the environment down there for us to drop into that space, drop into the flow state by how what words he chooses and how he formulates the class. So that's been a cool learning experience for me.
I've been enjoying his music too for the last couple of weeks. Make sure he knows that.
Robert Miller.
I shared a video
today. The flow at the end was perfect. I was like, man, he's becoming a DJ too, right?
I shared a video last week, the one that I sent you, and the original audio was so amazing. And then I sent it to Saphir, and he's like, was this edited or it was the music at Legacy? I said, this was the music at Legacy. It was so amazing. So
he's getting dialed in on all fronts.
Whatever album you got, keep playing it.
Yeah. Shout out to Robert. You know, he's just, I love the way it's how simple, you know, not over cueing, because people talk too much. He just says just what he needs to say. Yeah. And if you need help, of course he can talk. He talks more, right? But
I mean,
and that's a whole thing in itself, right? I appreciate that.
I really appreciate him being super level-headed too at all times. You know, in a flow class, in a club build class, he's always, you know, the same pace. I really enjoy that. So love being trained as having him as my main coach, and so probably trained the most with him. So
yeah, I would say just like in-person class. I mean, even taking Tacfit with him in person. Like we said, it's great that we have online and that I've been able to do almost everything with the system online. But coming in, like again, we'll just connection in person, you know, it's just a different energy. I can do the same workout at home or in the group of other people who are doing that workout, and I love the latter a lot more, you know, just the energy. Yeah,
I can take it from there. Was last week when we worked out with Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Was it Saturday morning? It was amazing.
With Scott, yeah.
We were just having you guys in the room, no matter who you guys were, but the fact that you guys you were, and we are in the class, and Scott is picking up 45-pound club bells, and you know, I was telling you, I picked up a heavier one as well. I came home and my elbows were like, but didn't feel like that. You know, I felt like the energy of people breathing next to me and giving me more. You know, same as going with the doing the qual with the group versus doing a qual at home. You know, the energy that you're gonna have from somebody else breathing on you or breathing next to you, or the coach is like yelling at you or squeezing you or touching you, makes a big difference in the heart rate and how fast you can, you know, do second wind and make sure you give everything you got. And that's it. So Saturday's class gave me a lot of energy, and also it humbled me by seeing how humble you guys are in the class, being taught by Aaron Cruz, how humble he was teaching a class with everybody in there. ASIC taking the class. So it was just,
I was like, yeah, no pressure, right, Aaron?
And then it was so amazing. It was like the perfect mood, just like I said. It's like the creating the environments. The exercises were, you know, normal Tacfit exercises, but it was so exciting to take that class just because of we were all together doing the same protocol, going through the same sweat and looking at each other and high fives and fist bumps, and it felt real.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, like, I've trained on Zoom. After the 10-minute is like, you know, you just need that one more push. So I always look forward for
like
that.
We're in this last year. We're in the COVID, the pandemic, you know, mode. Like the brick and mortars are gone, but that's where it's at, man. For me, like, that's where it's at. You can you know, you can really get the results when you're together. And you know, same thing in Capoeira, same thing in Jiu-Jitsu, same thing in everything.
I mean, and I think things are going to, we're obviously looking to the future, still having the online there, and it's going to help businesses to get more income. It's also going to help people who cannot get in or don't feel safe or what X, Y, and Z, can't make it there. They have kids, they're stuck at home. But I think for those of us who can come back in, like you said, that's where it's at, It's just so different, the experience.
Well, man, congratulations on just kicking ass this last year. Like, the pandemic, it stopped in you were saying a couple of days of my life, and just, it stopped everything, right? In its tracks. But some people, they did nothing, and you went like full steam ahead, finished your Tacfit cert, starting with that, which was like kind of crazy, right? With, you could be sad and, like everything's, we're on lockdown, right? I sat with all stranded outside and no cars out and about, we're supposed to stay home, but you did the work, then followed it up with the Tacfit cert, the FlowFit cert, doing all the stuff that you're doing. So, much respect, for being an example. Taylor, I love watching your videos. You're an example with your FlowFit, and it's beautiful,
Yeah.
So I love you guys. It's just amazing to have you guys be a part of the Tacfit family, and I look forward to just seeing us, everybody grow and help other people spread that message, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for introducing me to Tacfit and believing in us, and always your doors are always open, and you're such a transparent, everything is open book, and I really appreciate about that. And about Tacfit too, I don't like no time for games, like just go for, if you got it, you got it. Let's talk about it. And, I really think we grow as humans like that, and the connection. And we've been talking about connection, but also communication, communication. I love communication. Yes, no, maybe this, it just solves a lot of problems. And if we can more do that, as we know, as we grow in our system, I think we're lucky to have you helping us, leading us, great example. So I'm so lucky. I always tell how much respect I have for you, how I met you, how I stumbled in the gym.
Right,
I had to come four times. I had to come 4 times, talk to Alberto. Serge didn't let me the first time. He's like, "If you guys stand in front of us, you can't talk to professor. You gotta go through me." I said, "Bro, you're Armenian?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Me too." "No, can I talk to professor? I really need to talk to him." It came 3 times. The second time I came with a file and an Instagram and a resume and a YouTube, and then he's like, "You're serious, right? You really want to work?" I said, "Yeah, I do." And then, that was an amazing step. So everything happens for a reason, just me stumbling into legacy and creating our journey. And whatever that takes us. So super. My heart is always, thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't think I can top that. But, I will say that coming in here, I'm really excited to be around here more often and seeing the entire time how much community has stayed. People, it's a testament to your community. People are still here. They want to be back here. Like you said, this is where it's at. And you obviously offer that for a lot of people in person, online, on a bigger scale, but here is like the heart of it. So thank you for having us.
Thank you guys so much.